Hey guys, Dave here, back again with another Driving Empire video. In today's video, I will be talking about 5 features that I want to see added or changed in the game. I've been making quite a lot of list videos recently because they really help grow my audience. But if you enjoy videos like my budget challenges or other similar videos, don't worry, they're not going anywhere. I'm just doing these because they help grow my audience and the boys are pretty busy with school right now. So yeah, here are the 5 features that I want to see added or changed in Driving Empire. The main feature I really want to see added to Driving Empire are minigames. Roblox racing games only really have races in them. Like, there's no other kinds of interesting events or something that you can do in case you're bored. The minigames that I'm imagining would be similar to Forza Horizon's minigames. So those include games like Infection, Flag Rush, and so on. Those minigames made Forza games a lot of fun, and I feel like they'd also make Driving Empire lots of fun. Now, knowing the kinds of people that play Driving Empire, these minigames probably wouldn't be that popular on their own. However, adding a level system with unique rewards would probably encourage a lot of people to play these minigames. To be fair, the main reason why I want to see them is just because I really like minigames and had a lot of fun playing them in Forza games. The only thing that kinda worries me is that they would probably be broken with Roblox's position lag. I'm mostly worried about tag minigames. I can just imagine a scenario where you're in the game thinking you avoided getting tagged, but the reality is you got tagged because Roblox's position lag lied to you. So yeah, the main issue is that these games could either work flawlessly or have countless bugs. Anywho, enough about minigames and let's move on. The performance mods in Driving Empire are pretty lackluster in my opinion. All of them are just really bare bones. Let's just take power upgrades as an example. If you want to add more power to your cars, you can just get a basic engine upgrade or an aspiration upgrade. I guess you can also count boost, but that just gives you a temporary power bump. It would be so much more interesting if you also had upgrades like camshaft upgrades, exhaust upgrades, flywheel upgrades, and so on. And it doesn't just have to be power upgrades. For example, weight reduction. It doesn't just make your straight line speed better, but it also improves your handling. There's also transmission upgrades, like how about changing your clutches or changing your differentials for making drift builds? Or how about making your tires wider? There is a lot of different performance upgrades that could be added. Tuning can also make building your car really interesting. Anyone can go and get the best upgrades for their car, but tuning really requires some time and thinking. And if done right, tuning can really improve your car's performance. There is a lot that can be added when it comes to upgrading your car, but that's also the one issue. It's a lot of things to add, so I don't know how hard it would be to implement them, but they would really make the experience a whole lot more engaging. Drifting physics in Driving Empire are honestly just bad. If you go and try drifting in Driving Empire in its current state, you would just end up spinning out almost every single time you tried. I mean, maybe there are some people out there who mastered it by now, since there's always someone that's gonna try hard anything, but they're really just not good. Now, I'm not even that interested in drifting, but it's just so much fun to go into a racing game, take a drift car, and drift around the map. A really good example of what I think are good drifting physics is Full Throttle. The drifting in Full Throttle was just a lot of fun. You had to put in a bit of effort to actually get a drift going, but once you got a drift going and also got the hang of it, it's just so satisfying because it's not like those drifting games in Roblox where it's basically like driving on ice, but it's like actual, almost proper drifting. But the thing with the drifting physics is that it all comes down to the game's chassis. If the chassis in Driving Empire, which is getting revamped, isn't optimized for drifting, then it's just not gonna work. However, if it is decently optimized for drifting, then it's just gonna be an absolute blast. And I mean, you could argue that I could just go play some random drifting game on Roblox, but it's just not the same. And before you think about telling me to go play Full Throttle, that game is unfortunately completely dead. The car models in Driving Empire at the moment are just all kinds of sizes. I feel like this is relatively self-explanatory. Seeing an Aventador SVJ next to an SV is honestly just comedic. Like, it's pretty much the same car, it's built on the same platform, it's just a higher trim level, and for some reason it's much smaller. And there's other cars with the same issue. You have the Gambala Mirage GT and the normal Carrera GT, which are also different sizes, with the Gambala Mirage being extremely small. You can take that Gambala and put it next to pretty much any supercar, and you can just tell that it's much smaller than it should be. You also have the Mercedes S-Class. The S-Class is not a small car, it's a luxury car, so it's meant to be big and spacious. Yet once again, it's just really small next to other cars. And it's really just disappointing to see. Like, it can't possibly be that hard to change. You just take the cars that you have in the game right now and maybe up the size of the models. And now I don't know anything about car modeling, so I could be completely wrong and this might be a really hard process. But either way, this ruins the immersion and photos. Like, how can the same car be two different sizes? Or how can a Mercedes S-Class be much smaller than a Volkswagen Golf? Like, the Golf is a hatchback, the S-Class is a luxury saloon. How can an S-Class be smaller than a Golf? It really makes no sense, and it's honestly funny. Like, you obviously can't see me right now, but I actually have a grin on my face just thinking about it. So yeah, the car models in Driving Empire need some work done to them. Now, as I said, I don't know how hard it is to change them, but come on, the same car cannot be two different sizes. It makes no sense. The final change that I really want to see is the houses being improved. Driving Empire's houses in their current state are honestly just bad. They don't look that great from the outside. They're barely furnished, and the furniture that we have in them is kind of bad, and yeah, they're just not great. And you might be thinking like, oh, why should they improve the houses? Like, no one really uses the houses. Like, there's not really a point in improving them since it's a racing game. Huh. Here's the thing, the most obvious advantage is that people who roleplay would probably really appreciate it and find a use in them, and that could possibly boost Driving Empire's player base. Now, to be fair, I don't know if the developers want more people roleplaying in Driving Empire, but that is one way that they could be boosting the player base. Another reason is that, especially for cruising, houses can make it so much more enjoyable. Like, driving up to a house after a cruise is a lot of fun. That's also one of the main reasons why I enjoyed playing Ultimate Driving. The cruising in that game was just next level. Now, before you think that I'm asking for a lot, I'm really not looking for too much. To be fair, it would take some time, but it's mostly just remodeling the houses and their furniture. It would probably be much easier to improve the houses rather than adding the minigames or performance mods that I mentioned earlier in the video. And that's it. Those are the 5 features that I would like to see added or improved in Driving Empire. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and maybe even consider subscribing because I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.